Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad Gita. So, today we are going to study Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, text number 30. Yesterday we discussed 129. So, I will read the verse, its translation and purport. न च शक्नोम्यवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation: I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. Purport: due to his impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield, and he was forgetting himself on account of his weakness of his mind. Excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of existence. Bhayam dvitiyabhinivesh sat. Bhagavatam 12:37. Such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium take place in persons who are too affected by material conditions. Arjuna envisioned only painful reverses in the battlefield. He would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foe. The words nimittani viparitani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self interest by Krishna's will. One's real self interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjuna thought that his victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यप्रभु श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Here Arjuna is lamenting. He was lamenting before, and now he's continuing his lamentation. And in this particular verse, he expresses clearly that he is not able to see any good signs in fighting this battle. And Srila Prabhupada, in his purports, explains the reason that it is due to uh, excessive attachment to material things. Arjuna was thinking in material terms. In other words, Arjuna uh, is behaving like a conditioned soul who always thinks in terms of body and things related to body. So, Arjuna, though he is a pure devotee, but by the will of Lord Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport, that by the will of Sri Krishna, Arjuna is behaving like a conditioned soul. And the sign of conditioned soul is that he always thinks in terms of body or things related to body. So Arjuna thinks himself as a body, and the thought of killing his superiors or gurus who are situated as enemies on the battlefield, he thinks that by killing their bodies, he will be killing them. So that's the sign of ignorance Arjuna is having at this moment. And Lord Shri Krishna has arranged this particular scene so that Bhagavad Gita could be spoken for the benefit of all. So we should not think that Arjuna was actually an ignorant person. That is not a fact. It was the divine arrangement of Lord Krishna that Arjuna was put into this situation. And there are many instances of Lord Shri Krishna putting his devotees in such transcendental illusion. So he was not actually in illusion, but he was put into a transcendental illusion by by the potency of Lord Shri Krishna. That is called as Yogamaya. So generally, conditioned souls are in ignorance due to Mahamaya, or or the external potency of Lord Shri Krishna. But when Lord Shri Krishna's pure devotees are put into ignorance or in some sort of illusion, they are directed by the potency of Yogamaya. And what is the difference between uh, being influenced by Yogamaya and Mahamaya is that when somebody is influenced by Mahamaya, uh, he uh, degrades himself or herself. Whereas someone influenced by Yogamaya, it may appear like somebody is in ignorance, but actually, uh, by the divine potency of Lord Shri Krishna, that's called Yogamaya or internal potency of Lord Krishna, one will never degrade himself or uh, herself. So, uh, the residents of Braja or Vrindavanam, they are always uh, uh, caring for Krishna, they are loving Krishna, and in their expressions, sometimes they appear to be illusion. They appear to be committing mistakes, but we should not see such mistakes as the expression of their ignorance. Actually, such ignorance are can be called as transcendental ignorance or transcendental mistakes because they are arranged by the internal potency of Lord Shri Krishna. So that's one perspective we should always keep in mind while studying Bhagavad Gita. The another thing is Arjuna, as he is showing the symptoms of a person who is bewildered by ignorance, he is clearly showing that how he is too attached to the material relationships. So there is no doubt that in social dealings we have to respect our relationships. But when it comes to performing dharma, at that time we have to give priority to dharma. Arjuna, being bewildered here, is not able to distinguish between his real dharma, even from the point of view of a kshatriya dharma. He is not able to distinguish that he is supposed to perform his own dharma as a kshatriya instead of just thinking in terms of his ordinary uh, uh, relationship with his opponents. He may be a brother of someone, or he may be grandson of someone, or he may be some sort of relative to someone. But the fact is that he has to face his opponents to get victory. And one may question that Arjuna or even other Pandavas, they are not interested in victory. They were interested in just getting some few villages for their uh, for their dharma, because they were kshatriyas, so they were supposed to rule, so they can't beg like brahmanas. But even to get some villages, they had to fight, and because they could not get those villages in some bhiksha. So that was the dilemma of Pandavas, and particularly Arjuna here, that now he is facing his superiors, and he's now calculating in terms of his relationship with his superiors. Now he is by the internal potency of Yogamaya, he is forgetting that actually he had already announced before the before coming to Kurukshetra, that he is going to face his superiors for the sake of performing his dharma. And now he's getting bewildered. So it's just not behaving like Kshatriya. So, and Prabhupada gives the reason that this is because of the too much attachment to material things. So, it is not unusual for a conditioned soul to be attached to material things, and that includes our own body, our and things related to our own body. But uh, we are supposed to we are supposed to act on the platform of dharma. So that's a minimum platform where we should be acting upon. So bhakti dharma, that is the highest dharma. So we should be really cultivating uh, our dharma in such a way that we can be situated on performing bhakti in uh, performing every activity of dharma. So uh, our bhakti dharma should be reflected in all our dharmas, including our sharira dharma. For example, one has to maintain his body by uh, taking a bath or feeding this body. So, for a devotee, he's supposed to do everything in relationship to bhakti dharma. While there is the ordinary sharira dharma, but bhakti dharma is even above the sharira dharma. So, it does not negate the body, but the focus is Lord Shri Krishna. We are supposed to take care of our body, but in order to serve Lord Krishna and his devotees. So that is the goal of all dharmas. So bhakti is the highest dharma, but the minimum platform of performing dharma is that whatever dharma has been prescribed in our shastras as in terms of varna and ashramas, we should just uh, perform that with without calculating in terms of loss and gain. For example, Kshatriyas there to uh, go on the battlefield and fight with the enemies, and there are chances that they may not come back, so they may have to lose their lives. But still, they have been trained like that, that they should not fear death, they should not fear separation from their relatives. So even from the ordinary uh, point of view of dharma, Arjuna is not supposed to get bewildered here. He should just carry out his duty as Kshatriya. And uh, but the dilemma is that Arjuna is feeling too frustrated here, that he is not able to stand there. So that's the height of material attachment, that one is not able to face the idea of losing the things who is attached to. So Arjuna, uh, being a great warrior, he is not supposed to be so weak in his determination, and that certainly should be addressed. And we will see that how Lord Shri Krishna would uh, eventually take up the role of a guru, and would guide his disciple Arjuna into his real dharma. The highest dharma is definitely bhakti dharma, but uh, as the Gita proceeds, we learn that Lord Shri Krishna proposes Arjuna in different ways. That even from the ordinary point of view, is supposed to fight with his opponents, no matter they are his relatives or not, because this consideration does not exist in the matter of following dharma. Uh, so, on the contrary, Arjuna uh, is getting bewildered, and his expressions are that he's not able to see any good thing. That's something unexpected from Arjuna, that he is even justifying his ignorance. He's saying that he's not able to see any good sign from this battle. So generally, when somebody is becomes blind with ignorance, then he uh, cease to see any good thing in his life, and that's what's happening with Arjuna. Although fighting for the right cause is good for Kshatriya, but because of too much attachment to his relatives, Arjuna is behaving as if he is completely lost of any sense of dharma, and uh, he's expressing that he doesn't see any good sign, any good thing from this battle. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that nimittani uh, nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshav. So he explains that viparitani nimittani dhana nimittako yom nimittako ayam atra me vasa iti van nimitta shabdoyam prayojanamachi. ततश्च युद्धे विजयिनो मम राज्यलाभात् सुखम न भविष्यति किंतु तद विपरीतम अनुताप दुखमेव भावी इत्यर्थः. So the meaning is that, as someone says that I have come here to get wealth. My purpose is for coming here is to get wealth. So similarly, Arjuna is saying that we have come here to get victory, and what are we going to achieve by that victory? We will be happy. That's our prayojana. That's our purpose for fighting with our enemies. But I don't see any happiness by fighting with our relatives. Instead, I see that we'll be put into unhappiness, and he will give his arguments how they will be caught in miseries, eternal miseries, not just ordinary miseries. So this is because of ignorance. When somebody is blinded by ignorance, he ceases to see any good thing, even in the acts of dharma. So definitely, killing relatives is not good. But here, they were not just relatives, but they were the supporters of adharma. And as a kshatriya, Arjuna is supposed to fight them and kill them. That was as simple as a uh, sun in the sky. But Arjuna is not able to relate to it because he's thinking in the terms of bodily relationships. So these situations often comes in our life where we also tend to forget our dharma, our duty, and we justify our own action by some so-called reasonings that I really care for them, but I cannot do this or I cannot do that. So all these things arise because of ignorance. And in the famous dialogue between Yaksha and Yudhishthira, where Lord Yamaraj appears as Yaksha and asks Yudhishthira different questions. So one of the questions was that what is shoka? What is shoka? Shoka means lamentation. So Yudhishthir replies that ignorance is shoka. So ajnanam is shoka. Because of ignorance only, there is lamentation. So ignorance gives rise to lamentation. So if we don't keep ourselves on the platform of knowledge, by default we'll be acting on the platform of ignorance. And this ignorance will generate lamentation. So whenever we are lamenting, we should understand that there is a trace of ignorance in our approach or in our understanding. So that we should always keep in our mind, and that's a very culture where everyone is uh, encouraged to cultivate knowledge by hearing from higher authorities, by hearing from Shastra, by hearing from Brahmanas. So that is the way to understand things as they are, to understand things in reality. Otherwise, anything which is not satyam, which is not reality, will cause us miseries. That's a very simple fact. Uh, because if we impose our ignorance on something which is not a real thing, naturally uh, our dreams will not come true. That's a fact. Because as we are expecting happiness or so many things from unreal things, unreal things in a sense that they are, they are not designed to be eternal. They are temporary things, but we treat them as if they are eternal. And from such a temporary things, we expect unlimited happiness. So that's the highest of foolishness. The things which are not even eternal, they are temporary, and we are expecting eternal happiness from those things, whether it is male body, female body, or some any objects of sense gratification. So uh, that is why in Vedic culture, everyone is supposed to cultivate this knowledge by learning from scriptures, and elevate oneself to the platform of knowledge, so that we can always uh, be safe. So that's the real security. So we do not actually care for ordinary security. So that something comes under ordinary dharma, sharira dharma, or the grihastha dharma, all these things. But actual security is that we should be cultivating knowledge. That will give us real security. And what is the result of this security? That in all situations of life, we will not be bewildered. We will not be crying. Generally, babies cry. And why do they cry? Because they are helpless. They cannot manage themselves. So, uh, the message of scriptures is that let's not remain like babies. Let's become men. Let's take care of ourselves by elevating ourselves to the platform of knowledge. Otherwise, we will be behaving like babies. Babies means ignorant people. So, that's the essence of this purport. So, I will end here, and we can take questions if there are. I will unmute you all. So if there is some question, we can ask, or else we can then conclude here. Virekta Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. There are no questions, it seems. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा श्रीमद् भगवद गीता यज्ञ की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you so much.